So sardines, for those of you who haven't played or don't know, sardines is basically the opposite of hide and seek. Hide and seek, you've got one person who's it trying to find everybody else. With sardines, you've got one person going to hide and everyone else is looking for that one person. And as you find them, you stay with them. Here's what I have come to believe. That God has been playing sardines with us since the beginning of time. Whatever causes us to hide, whatever causes us shame, whatever causes us to disconnect from those around us, to feel like we have to wear that mask to be accepted in church, not here, other churches. Whatever that is, God just wants to play sardines with us and come get down in there with us and go, hey, what's going on? Let's talk about this. I'm staying with you. I don't know who else is coming, but I'm here. My favorite story in the Bible of people playing sardines is Hagar. So she is Sarah's slave. Sarah is her master, not Abraham. And, Sarah and Abraham, they have this promise that they're going to have all these kids. A mess of kids, we'd say in Alabama. They're going to have a whole mess of kids. And they haven't had even the first kid in this mess yet. And Sarah is frustrated. I think she's a little embarrassed. She's probably heartbroken. And she eventually says, Abraham, take Hagar, the Egyptian slave, and have a child with her. Let us have a son with Hagar. And Hagar is only doing what her master has told her to do. But Sarah becomes pretty ticked off, jealous. And the King James says something like in her jealousy, she treats Hagar poorly. Now, I don't know how bad it was for Hagar, but it was bad enough that she fled pregnant, hot, desperate, into the desert. God shows up in the desert of her desperation. And Hagar, the Egyptian slave, this unsung hero, one of my favorite women in the whole book, she's the first person to rename God, or to name God from her own experience. And she says, you are El Roy, R-O-I. You are El Roy. You are the God who sees me. When I feel completely unseen, when I don't feel heard, when I don't feel accepted, when I don't feel loved, when I feel anything but those things, you, God, come and play sardines. How many people do we know? How many people do you know who are feeling like Hagar? You know, Jesus promised that, right? In this world, you will have trouble. We want to skip over because we don't like lament, we don't like suffering. We want joy unspeakable and full of glory every day of the week, twice on Sunday. But Jesus said, in this world, you are going to have hard times, bad days, bad months, bad seasons. Unthinkable things are going to happen. We want to skip over that and get to, but take heart, I've overcome the world. It's true. He has, and it's wonderful. But what do we do with those people who are in that in-between space? What do we do when it's us, when we're in the trouble and God seems gone, checked out? Where are you? What is happening? It's the way I was raised. It was all about outward behavior. It was all about checking every little box and knowing the right scriptures to quote, knowing the right prayer to pray, and knowing when to stand, sit, kneel. All of those things are what counted, and we don't really want to know about your mess. Keep that quiet and just do what you're supposed to do. And so, for me now, Christian life is messy. And if it can't be messy, I want to be a part of it. If God isn't willing to meet me in the pig pen like the prodigal son, then what are we doing? So maybe you're here and you don't have a mental health diagnosis, you've never had a lived experience with mental illness, you don't know anybody who's ever been suicidal, but you're also not a jerk. And so you want to love, you want to help, you want to support. What do I do? What do I not do? What do I even say? So here's a few things not to do. Don't just quote a cherry-picked scripture. Not helpful. Wait, don't quote scripture? Yeah, don't. Don't quote a cherry-picked scripture when someone is in crisis, because it's usually not helpful. Don't tell them to just pray harder. Don't tell them to just choose joy. Don't do it. Ask them what they need. What do you need from me? I don't have the answers. I don't know what this is like. I've never lived this, but I love you. I care about you. I'm not going anywhere. Can you tell me what you need? How can I support you? That's really all you have to do. That's really it. We sang a song this morning about Come As You Are, and it's on like countless church signs all over the place. What if it was true? What if we meant it? What if we said, come as you are on the church sign, and we meant it? Not come as you are, and you can sit back for a couple weeks. But what if we really meant, come as you are? Oh man, it's the church's greatest slogan, and most of the time it's our biggest lie. The church isn't looking for Starbucks in the foyer. Hurting people aren't looking for that from your church. They're not looking for fog machines and purple lights and skinny jeans. They're not looking for all that. Like, oh, that's fine. You can do it. You can wear a Daddy Shark t-shirt if you want to. You can. But none of that matters to the person in crisis who shows up holding their breath going, oh, God, my life is falling apart at the seams and I've just barely got enough energy to walk through the door. They don't care about any of that other stuff. They care about you going, welcome, welcome, welcome. And following up with them after it's over, checking on them. So don't let this be a country club. Let this be a hospital. Let this be a hospital for hurting people. And if you're not hurting right now, thank God. Go love on somebody who is. So really, in a nutshell, hurting people, they need your presence. Not your gifts, but your presence. Show up. And they need your compassion. Jesus does that with the man in John 5, the man who was invalid for 38 years. He's sitting at the pool of Bethesda, just wishing he could get in when the angel comes and stirs the water. And along comes Jesus. And I love what Jesus does, playing sardines with this guy. Get up, take your mat, and come with me. Bring your mat with you. Why is that significant? Because Jesus isn't saying, leave your experience behind. Oh, hey, let's not talk about that. No, bring your mat. Bring your experience. Bring your story. Because other people are going to need to hear it. About how God met you in the desert of your desperation, Hagar. Bring that story with you and open up and share. When people are safe, open up and share with them and tell them about this God who is a very present help in time of need.